Yo,
Hey.
Hey, man.
Boys. What's going on today up there?
Dude, we are so excited to have you on. It has been an amazing journey. But before we get into the star of the show, sorry, he had to do his makeup. He had to get powder, do his hair, but he put the
hair had to get done. Fingernails.
We have to accommodate the star, so that's why we're a little late today. We have some business.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good. So, hey, before we get started, everybody go out and subscribe to YouTube /@RoadFS. Go subscribe to this channel so you get updated every time we're going to have one of these events, and watch us on all the podcast forums.
And we are super excited because one of our favorite people in the entire world is hitting the world like a hurricane, man.
Yeah, baby. It's coming on, baby.
That's right.
They tell us it's coming on too, man. We've talked to so I usually talk to the ITV left field guys for the production, and they're excited. Things are good. But I actually talked to the History Channel Monday, and they were telling us that the ratings were great. We were hitting every mark, that they were very well pleased with what we're doing, and they see no reason there shouldn't be a couple more.
That's
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so fun to watch the show.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun when, I mean, the fun part for me is we know a little bit because we know you and we know your guys. And so we can see that, like, my kids will ask me, they're like, is Zach really like that? I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's Zach. That is Zach.
Yeah.
That's just how he is. You know, that's not sawdust, buddy. That's him. That's how he is.
Yeah. You guys are privileged to insider information, and you know that this is really us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the key to it. And that was what makes it cool. One down below there.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, there's Jay. The coolest part about that, having a little bit of insight in that, is seeing that and being able to show that, like, when my kids saw one of those cars, they're like, are they really? I'm like, no, they're really that nasty. Those cars. I said, just wait till you see the goat mobile. We haven't seen the goat mobile yet, baby. It's coming. It's coming.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, nothing was staged. Everything was drug out of barns and fields and everything. And they are absolutely legitly dirty. And you're exactly right, Mr. J. Next time we'll have to have Ruben in there so he can make a snoot appearance.
So we're going to get into some questions later on from people that have asked us stuff. But one of the questions that it's funny, because my kids on the filming of this, they give some panoramic views and all stuff. So one of the questions that my kids have asked me, they're like, does he have one shop or is it three? And I've told them it's one shop, but it's got three separate buildings that are, I mean, you basically have a whole block almost.
We do. It's just kind of how it laid out. So how it happened. First, we bought the middle building. Then we built the building on the left, if you're facing it. Then we bought the property to the left of that. Then we bought the building to the right of that. So it just keeps growing. But now both the two neighbors here are not going anywhere, so we're kind of out of room because nobody wants to sell. So we're trying to look at other options and other buildings. And, you know, Jay Marina's on here, so Jay's trying to get us the funding from Gliptone to buy us another building. That right, Jay? That's what we're working on, baby. And so we can have we got a lot of things, a lot of new things coming, man, in the next 8 to 10 months. You know, we kind of got to work in silence right now. I can't say, even though I would love to say. Like, there's a lot of new things coming, man, that it's going to be so helpful, like you guys are to us, in tracking the cars and scanning the cars and keeping everything in order. Like, we got a lot of those things coming for the detailing industry as well, man.
Awesome.
Well, it's super fun. And you know, the thing is, with Rocco, you know, being an Italian, I would think if you weren't such a nice guy, he could just send over Lefty or Guido and take care of those guys that don't want to sell.
True. But once he saw that we were already in the mafia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a little fear there. Yeah, there's probably a little fear there. Jamie's in the mafia.
Right. That's right.
You know, so
that's right, Mr. J. One big family for sure, Big Daddy. Ain't no doubt.
Well, and I think that's what was kind of fun, because last night you went live before the show and everybody just jumped on. You were greeting them. You're saying hello. And it is a big family. And I think one of the things that's exciting to watch is that the show is really impacting not only your business, it's impacting the detailing industry, and it's impacting Morganton.
Yeah.
A lot. Like the people are really, really rallying here, man. And they're like, I say they're like this big fan that's fanning the flame. We know where you do the coal inside the train.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
They're fueling the fire, man. And they are so, so helpful in making this thing a success and sharing and posting and sending to their family in other states. And they're telling people. So, I mean, it's really, really catching fire, man. It's really, really great.
Well, and I think that's the best part about it, is that it's elevating not just you, which I know that you are an advocate for everybody else. And that's one of the things that makes you, I think, is popular on this show is because you want to elevate everybody. And so the whole community of Morganton and the whole detailing industry is benefiting from this show. Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the greatest parts about it is, you get people that are related because they're in the detailing industry, and they're going to benefit from that. Because I can see in local markets somebody going, "Hey, I watched this show called Dirty Old Cars, and is that really how much it costs to stuff do that?" And blah 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 blah, and that they're going to benefit from it, and it's fun. I mean, we have we've got the ability to be there, and we were talking this last weekend. We were at a really awesome event at the Peterson Auto Museum, and we were talking to some people about the show at the Peterson Auto Museum, when there were some big name people there, and we were talking about, we get to be on Dirty Old Cars, and we were down there filming it, and Jamie was so busy we couldn't get cars out, so we're polishing cars at the end of the day and doing all this stuff. And I mean, it's awesome to see that and to see the excitement. My kids are into it. My kids don't watch car shows; they don't care, but they'll tell me, they'll be like, "Hey, it's Wednesday night, we got to watch Jamie's show," so they'll sit down and watch the show. So it's just fun to see it, and it's fun to see what it's going to become.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's so cool, man, to be there from the inception, so to speak, and see it happening and see it growing and see it going and seeing people going, let's go, let's go. They're just chanting and rooting, man, because again, it's everybody gets to see what we do, how much time we put in, the tools we put in, the education we have. It's a lot more than just a soap in a bucket now. Like it used to be. There's so much more to it. People take so much more care and pride in their cars because they cost a lot more. So they're really trying to take care of these things. Or some of the ones we get, they're trying to preserve them. So there's a lot that goes into it. And people are really seeing like, wow, I just didn't know that it took that long. Like one of the cool things about everybody that came that was a part of the crew, right? Yeah. Like they're all of these, what's the word I'm looking for? I've done with brain dead. It's not a vendor, but they are. I can't remember the name of it. They own their own entity, so to speak. And you take all these guys and you put them all together into one group, right? Yeah. So they come and they're setting up. They're freelancers. That's what I'm looking for. Independent contract freelance guys. So they put these guys together and they're like, they're scrolling down jobs and they're like, they're going to do a show about washing cars. Oh, that'll be easy. Click. How much do I have to do? And then these guys get here and they're like, man, I never knew there was this much to do. And you've really brought us such a different light to this thing. And we thought there wasn't going to be much to shoot. And Jamie, we don't know where to stop. Like there's so much to film. We don't know what all we're going to put where. Like there's so much they don't show in the show that you could do one car in 30 minutes and still not show everything.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
So let's throw in a question that I got. And it has to do with part of the reason that I'm really interested in the contrast that we've seen. So we saw there was an old car, right? And then there was the newer Chevy pickup. And I got a question directly about that Chevy pickup. And somebody said, could you really get all of the smell out of that truck? And what did you use? And I think I know what you used, but that was the question. Can you really get all the smell out? And what did you use to get it out?
So yes, we got the smell out, and we actually had to use the steamer. Emily, what's the name of the cleaner that we used inside the black truck? you know, the bioenzyme. Bioenzyme was the cleaner we used. That's a good bacteria that kills the bad bacteria. Look, we drowned it in that, and then we used a product called Ultra Cleaner. And listen, we just went to town. That was one of those things, man, that you could throw the kitchen sink and the toilet and, you know, whatever you wanted to throw at it. But bioenzyme was the killer of killers, so to speak. It killed the smell. But now look, when you're steaming this stuff and extracting it, like, you just can't understand or appreciate the smell of death. You smell death. Like you're taking the steamer and you're cleaning this dead carcasses of maggots off the console and the feet of the seat, and like this stuff is rolling down, and you're like, God, like you just can't imagine the smell. I honestly, I don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
Like really.
Yep. I can understand it. When you saw the pictures of the maggots and all stuff, I was like, oh, that has got to be a smell that never leaves you.
Well, and there's that one, and you guys haven't done it yet, but I remember when we were on site with you and we went out and looked at what I call Swamp Thing. And I remember when you opened that door and the mold just hit me, and I wasn't even right at the door. I mean, I can't imagine what the maggots smell like.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good description. It's not just that the smell creeps in. It's like a wall hitting you. You're standing there, and all of a sudden just this evil thing hit. Oh, it just pushes you back.
So listen, do you remember when we were growing up and we watched The Crypt Keeper?
Yeah.
So if you if you remember The Crypt Keeper, it's like doing a pedicure on the Crypt Keeper. That's kind of what like, holy Moses, you put his feet down in the water and you're like, oh, and you're trying to snip a nail. You know, no, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's some of those are evil. And like I said, like Jody and I said, there's a couple of the cars that we got to see when we were down there that you haven't done yet, that I keep telling my kids, oh, just wait.
Just wait.
There's some evil stuff out there in the world.
There's some doozies, baby. I mean, some doozies, man.
Well, and you a few minutes ago, you talked about cars being more expensive. People are trying to take them, but there are still people that, I mean, I think back to the mom van, and I mean, they use their cars for everything, not just for, taking the kids to school, but that lady was moving goats. I mean, I would never do that in my car, right? But I can also appreciate leveraging what you do have, right? So I can appreciate it. She's like, look, I'm a mom. I'm busy. I got to move these goats. I got to throw hay in it because I don't have a truck, or the husband's got the truck. So on one hand, I can appreciate it. But on the other hand, I can't imagine driving my car with goat poop in it.
Man, so look, just like we haul our dog, like you get ready to leave and the dog's getting ready to leave and you're like, you open the door and he jumps in. Well, at that lady's house, it just happened to be goats. Like she opens the doors and King Ferdinand and Luli and all them, they just come running like, oh, where are we going today? And they're just rolling with it, man. They're getting down to town and they're riding in the car with the kids to school, the grocery store, just like, Fifi or Brutus would ride to us, It's the same thing, man.
What's a few more kids with 2 more legs?
That's right. And horns, a couple of horns.
Don't make no difference.
So that just the contrast. I think the other question that was interesting that I got is, and there's no way to answer this, but it's like, well, how many seasons could you have? Are you going to run out of cars? And I think some of the people might run out of cars, but I know in your area, you probably will never run out of cars that have been sitting under a tree, because some of these are newer cars and they have moss growing on them.
Mm-hmm. Listen, as well as I know, and you guys are privileged to the information because you've been with me and you've been here. We know so many people in the town, and so many people in the town love this and are behind this. Like if we did, okay, so there's 20 episodes, there's 2 cars an episode, that's 40 cars. Listen, we had 300 applicants in 2 hours. So you divide 40 cars into 300. What is that? That's 2, 3. That's like 8 seasons. That's like 7, 8 seasons, right? 7 seasons.
Just with the applicants you've got.
Exactly. And that's with just us doing the show. We won't run out of cars because people are just like, look, here's what we got. Here's what we got. And I mean, there's so many emails and pictures and things of that nature. It's just amazing, man. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
I think it's cool that that everybody in your community is behind it, right? Yeah. They're excited for you, for your team. It exposes Morganton, but it also at the same time, it exposes the detail industry. I mean, Gliptone, I mean, they're doing an amazing job in providing products for you guys to resurrect and kill the crypt keepers' bad odor, right? As well as, you got Flex, the trusted polisher that you guys go to resurrect the paint on these guys. I mean, so we have to give a recognition to the tools and the products that are helping you guys do this service for these cars.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And listen, things change so quickly in our industry anymore, in the world for that fact, but in our industry that these guys do a great job of maintaining, but also getting you to the next level of like just keeping you out there, keeping you fresh, keeping you relevant. Like, man, they're amazing. And Chris Metcalf, man, he's been like, oh my goodness, dude. He's been great, man. I talk to him on a weekly basis or every other week basis, man. He's putting our name out there at training classes. We're not doing any trainings yet, but he's just putting our names out there at training classes. He's having people watch the show. We're becoming friends with these people in the trainings. They're asking questions. So like, it's like this whole big world, and all of the detailing community industry giants are saying, yeah, do this. Here's what it is. Let's go here. It's just great.
Yeah, and I think that is, one of the questions, and I'm gonna field this one. You can fill in. But basically, the question was, well, what does it take to do this? And Jody just mentioned 2 of them, which is great products, great tools, professional grade tools. This isn't something you picked up at Kmart, and training. Those are the 3 things it takes. It takes those 3 things to do it, because people are not paying to have their car detailed because of just one of those items. They're paying for the combination of the know-how, the tools, and the products to make it look right. Because in last night's episode, there's a lot of people that don't know, but the difference between a base coat, clear coat, and a single stage, and to try to make those match is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. And so the fact that you guys were able to do that, and you mentioned it, and my girls are asking me questions the whole time the show's going on. They're like, how's he going to make that work? How's he going to make that work? And I'm like, well, that's probably the most difficult part right there, is what Caleb's doing right there on that door, trying to make it match that door that's got clear coat on it. It's going to be the hardest part, because they're not the same animal. You got a possum and a cougar. So
yes.
So let's just go over a little bit of that. Is how many years and how many trainings have you gone through to get to where you are? Good morning, Steve Thompson.
Good morning, Mr. Steve. So I've been doing this. This is my 31st year. Okay. Now look, I don't even look like I'm 30. I know, but I've been doing this since I was in the womb. Thank you.
I thought you were 29. So I'm like, all right, you're like Steve Thompson, in diapers, man.
I know, really. Goodness. And trainings, I've had about 9 trainings, 9 educations. And look, the education part of it's been around for 15 years, probably. Thank you, Miss Karen. I appreciate that.
I think she's talking about me.
I was talking about me. I was thinking Jody.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Rob, but I was thinking
Jamie.
Jody.
Thank you.
I got you back, dog. Don't you worry about it. But in the last 10 to 12 years, that's when education, at least for the East Coast, now maybe on the West Coast, things are faster there than they are here. It takes a long time to get to a small town. And to have those type of trainings, but to be strategic about what is good and what's not and what's going to be best for you, instead of just say, oh, I went to a training. Man, there's a select few out there that's going to be amazing, that's going to take care of your needs. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
But training is everything. Look, who you know and your contacts, that try to help you is a big part of it. And, and you and your attitude, man, is a lot of it too. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego, which it's okay. But there's a time and a place for that, and a lot of the guys in the industry, man, are just so giving of their time and their talents and their efforts of what they've done, what they've accomplished, but how they strategically know how to help you, man.
Yeah.
Like, listen, Keith Duplessis is one that's just phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
He is a genuine dude, man. And then look, we could name names for hours here on guys that do the work, that are in the trenches, that are just so gracious and kind too, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that too.
I agree with that 100%, man.
I think that is the key. Is there's a lot of really, really good people in the industry and a lot of really good companies, and that they want you to succeed. And I think that is the key to it, is like, the rising tide. I know that that's used all the time, but it raises everybody. And so, by making the 3 shops that are highlighted in this series, they're helping everybody else be successful.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about the show. And what I thought was really cool when we were there is that the camera crew was into it. They wanted to understand the process and what you needed to do to make it happen, and how you make this work and what are the chemicals. And they weren't, I know we were there kind of, I'm going to say late. You'd already filmed several episodes before we got there, but they wanted to understand the whole process, and that's cool. They weren't just there doing a job. They were there to understand it, and they were excited about the process. I know last night, that's the red Honda. We were there when they went to look at it, and they were really excited about this red Honda, man. They wanted to go look at it. So, and that's fun. Chasing down the cars is fun, and then actually going and doing the work. Now, there's probably stuff you can't reveal, but one of the questions is it really only take you 2 days to do these cars?
Well, let's say there's 3 people that work on them for 2 days, and we're working about 15 hours. So you got 3 people times 15 times 2.
Yep.
That's kind of the average, because we were staying late finishing things. So, in 2 days, there's, 40, 50, 60 hours in them 2 days, because there's 3 people. Labor time.
Yeah. And another thing is, the one question that I got was, are you continuing to maintain your business while this is going on? The answer to that is obviously yes. Because you got great people that work there. And Caleb and Emily and Zach and all the crew you got working there, and you got the runners that are going back and forth. When we were there, you were sending us, you're like, hey man, you guys got to go down to the dealership and pick up a car. You got to do that. And I was telling people I was telling this weekend when we were at the Peterson Museum, and there was an old truck in there, and I said, yeah, we were on Jamie's place, and he threw me the keys to this old Ford pickup, and I got in it and started backing up, and the brakes weren't working, and I was pumping the brakes like crazy, thinking they're going to video me rolling out of this car, rolling out of this shop, and running over Jamie in this old pickup.
Yes, sir. We just jumped in and made it one big family affair, man, and we just made it happen, no matter what. And all the guys here, man, Jarvis and Heavy and Paul Caldwell and Ken, my dad, all, man, they just, wherever we got to go. And it's just like all the time, man, making it work, make it happen.
Yeah. It's fun to watch the organized chaos. And it's fun. It was fun to be a part of it when we were there. It's like, hey, can you go pick up that car that we just tinted the windows on? Oh, absolutely. We can do that. So it was fun. So I have a question about Caleb, right? Okay. You got this young, smart, good-looking young man. How's he going to handle all the dirty old car girl fans?
That's a good question. I don't know. He's not mentioned it to me yet, so I have no idea. He's keeping that on the hush hush, I think.
That's good, man.
I wished he was in here. I would let you ask him that, but he's way out there. He knew we were on, and he made a quick exit.
He's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be on the show, man.
No, I'm not being a part of that because he knows that you'll ask him a bunch of questions.
Yeah, you will ask him that question. So there
That's
you
super
go.
fun. So, well, we're hoping, knocking on our heads, knocking on wood, praying. We're, sacrificing kids and chickens and maggots and spiders, to
baby.
hopefully get season number 2, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So how many episodes do you have left in this season?
10.
Oh wow,
That was
excellent.
number 10. There's still 10 more.
Woo! That's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, man. It's something else. There's still a lot to come. I mean, a lot of beautiful stuff, man, to come. A lot of nasty, filthy stuff too. That's just like, golly, man, like bad to the bone stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Well, then it's a fun concept. I really like it. I mean, it's been going on for several years on the internet where you see people pull a car out of the woods and do that. Oh, here we got another question coming in.
Oh yeah. What is one of the all-time funniest moments of the whole series? Maybe you can't tell that yet because we still have 10 more episodes. So maybe in the most recent episodes, what is the funniest moment?
Oh man. I would have to say for me, and what we get a lot of is Zach. We get a lot of questions about Zach. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep, I do.
Is he all there? Is it really Zach? Is that how he really acts? I'm like, look, he is not an actor. He is a true performer. If you know what I mean, that's who he really is. Like we get a lot of questions about Zach. You know what I mean?
I got some sody pop for you.
Yes, sir. But oh wow, we get a lot of questions about Zach for sure.
Yep, and I can say firsthand that is Zach.
That is truly
with
Zach.
the camera off.
No
That's
doubt.
him.
No doubt. And look, that's what makes it easy for us. And you guys know, look, when the camera turns on, we don't turn no buttons on. We're on when we get here. It's a live show every day. So it's just natural to keep it moving. They just get to film bits and pieces of it.
And I think that honestly, part of it, the just being in an automotive shop and having myself spend time in automotive shops when I was younger, and knowing that that's kind of how you have to roll, right? You might have your process figured out. Here's cars number 1, 2, 3, and 4, but all of a sudden car 6 rolls in and the kid just vomited in the seat and daddy's on the way to the airport. We're going to put number 2 aside. Zach, get out there, put on rubber gloves, suck that out, and let's go.
Yes.
And that's just how it works, right? And then all of a sudden the dealership calls you and they got some hot car. It's already sold. I told them we'd polish it. We got to do the headlights. Boom, drop everything you got to do. Dad, go pick up the car. It's just, it's like the lights turn on and the circus music starts in an automotive shop, period. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
And you got to adapt and overcome. It's old Marine saying, right?
Yes.
And that's how it works. And I think that one of the things that I know everybody that watches the show enjoys and that I enjoy about the Visual Perfection family is you are family, just like Jody and I in our business. We kind of break all those rules, but that's okay because y'all know at Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're going to be around somebody's table together.
Yes.
And it keeps it real. And the other thing is you guys keep it really fun while you're there. I mean, it's fun to be there in the chaos. You could go the other direction. And I'm sure there's shops that are horrendously stressed out and they probably got a life expectancy of those employees of about 6 months, but you guys keep it fun. And that is what makes being there. And I'm sure that's what makes it for the filming crew and for everybody that comes in there. That's why when everybody goes by, they honk their horn and wave at you. Cause you guys are like family.
Yes.
You're family, man. You just, they come in, they stop in, hey, let's go get some donuts. Let's eat. I just stopped by to say hi. I'm going to just bring my motorcycle by and that kind of stuff. It's just, it's a big community. I love it. I mean, I think that's my favorite part about the whole thing is just the community that you're in.
Yeah, I agree. And the going back to the crew, they were like, man, it's nice to get a breath of fresh air and know that there's still a Mayberry in the world where there's still people like that.
Yeah.
And like they were just blown away at the hospitality, how friendly and nice everybody was in town, how people treated them. And listen, when they came to work, like you said, they wanted to know every piece of the process they could know. they wanted to show every part because it was such an intricate part. But then they were saying, oh, well, look, we need to get this. We need to get this shot. Jamie, this is going to be the best. And like they were wanting to give it their all. And look, we talked to, for 3 or 4 nights in the 8 weeks, we would invite them to our house. We would have a barbecue. We would have, a food truck. We just had them over to the house because that's small town. That's who it is. Like you said, they're around the table. They're your family. They're your friends. And a lot of them brought their significant others, right? And they were like, listen, I can tell you in our 15 years of marriage or 17 years of marriage that my significant other, where it was my husband or it was my wife or whoever, I've never seen them come home from a day of work and be so happy and be so ready to go back to work the next day. They said, I thank you for that. And I'm like, wow, I appreciate that. But, again, it's just who we were. But they were just so appreciative of just the raw honesty, I guess you would say, and the pleasantness of coming to work, doing what they had to do, but loving what they were doing. Like they really loved their job for the season that they were here. I mean, you can ask every one of them and not one of them would have a bad thing to say.
No. Right. And I think that's true about your work too. I mean, just at Visual Perfection, there's many times where Jody and I have said it here at the office and we're saying, look, it doesn't matter if we're digging ditches. You got to make it fun. Mm-hmm. And the key to that is the attitude you have when you walk in the door. It's not what you're doing. It's who you're doing it with and how you're doing it and how you're coming across.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I agree with that 100%.
I meant you have that warm and fuzzy energy. I don't know if he has warm and fuzzy. He has energy, but I wouldn't call it warm and fuzzy.
I'm warm and fuzzy. I am.
Come on, Big Daddy, let's go. We got energy. Let's solve this problem. Let's clean some crap.
After some of those cars, he's probably pretty fuzzy. There might be some green stuff.
That is probably true. So.
I had to have an anti-mold shot. That's for sure.
What do you have to get that every 3 months?
Every 3 months. Yeah, with a booster. Yeah.
The mold booster.
Yes. Yes, sir.
That's super fun, man.
Yeah, boy.
Well, great man, stuff. We always love talking to you. I mean, we just love your energy. We love your enthusiasm for life, for your team, for the show, for the industry. Sir. I mean, we always have a great time. And in fact, you're one of our most favorite people to talk to, right? And I think that energy is infectious, right? We all could use with more optimism, with more vision of what can be, especially of what can be in how we treat each other. And I think that's part of the traction to your segment of the show is everybody feels when they're watching it, they feel like they're part of the adventure of opening the door and going, oh, and I just got hit.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, man.
So how are we going to solve this? And I think people are on the journey with you. And I think that's what makes it so fun. So,
yeah, I agree. We have so many people, there's so many ways that people have so many platforms to get to you anymore that, that they're just like, man, I didn't realize the process, and you make the process so fun. We do feel like we're part of your team. Like this is doing so much for our industry. Of just like now, people can understand that it takes us a very long time to do what we do, and we care about what we do. We take pride in what we do. It's not just a job, like it's a craft. You know what I mean? We're people with, as Liam Neeson would say, a special set of skills. You know what I mean? With so people are just so appreciative.
That's a great segment. You standing there looking at some dirt on a car. I know where to find you. I have a specific set of skills.
You're gonna tear that thing up, boy.
That is
you're gonna rip that thing apart and tear the seats out of it.
And sometimes you do that, right? I think that's one of the things that the show highlights too, is that and this goes back to Sarah's point, is a lot of times people bring their cars in and they have this idea, oh, it's not that bad. Well, I mean, we've seen the dip spit trickle over the side, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when you guys look at a car, you're starting to look at the upholstery, the interior, and you're like, we got to take these seats out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of customers don't realize that sometimes you got to do a little deconstruction to reconstruct.
Yes. It's so, for us, it saves so much time to take the seats out because you have one big area instead of 4 separate quadrants. You got the seats sitting out. You can steam and extract and clean all those at one time. Then you have the floorboards, whether it's, the passenger front and back, which is 1, and then the driver's front and back, which is 2, or if there's not a console, it's just one big open area.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier. You get it cleaner. You get it more sanitary because you can get down in beside and get the French fries, and the Fruit Loops beside the seats. You can clean the seat belts. There's so much that you can do to make it so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why we take them out, tear them apart.
Yeah.
It's just easier, man.
Yeah.
It's easier.
But I think that's an important thing, right? You're highlighting one of the things you're really highlighting what it takes to properly detail a car, and you guys make it fun. And that's what is so fun about the show. So,
yeah,
looking back, so now you're 10 episodes in, right? And you got 10 more to go. What has surprised you most about the experience and people, rallying behind you? What's really surprised you?
I would say the big surprise is just all the support from all around the country, just of people that are so supportive, so thankful for what we're doing for the industry, how we're doing it, what we're doing. Just like, wow, man, like you do it and you do your job and you do it to the best you can for the people you're doing it for. But then other people gets to looking at it and they're like, man, or you show them something maybe that they didn't know how to do, or maybe you shave some time off for them in showing them how to do it this way. So it's just been great for all this. I would say maybe the pat on the back or the support of the people saying, let's go. Golly, that is so amazing. You know what I mean? Just from everybody.
Yeah.
Really. That's been,
and I think it's highlighting also a lot of times I think people in this show particular, they just push the car over into the weeds and, well, it's dead. I can't bring it back. And it's highlighting that you can bring something back and make it worth more money, because at the end of the day, I've done this for years. It's just been something I've done since I was a kid. You buy a car cheap, you fix it up and you sell it. Right.
Yep.
But it's showing people that you don't just have to junk something, that has a purpose. You're the ultimate in recycling, right? You're just upcycling into a usable vehicle again.
Yes, man. And then we're seeing the change that, a lot of people around here have those cars that are pot planters, out in the front yard, they have daisies in them and dirt and all this kind of thing. Well, they're seeing that they can transition those things into some money and get them out of the yard. Thank you very much, Miss Emily. And look, and I want to go back to this too. A moment ago, I spoke about so many gracious people in the industry and how kind Chris Metcalf had been. And, my guy, Keith, look, there's so many people to name, but another couple of guys that stick out is Rocco from Gliptone, Jay from Gliptone, Nick from Gliptone. Look, they have done so much for us that I don't know how we could repay what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, from videoing to marketing to chemicals to support to just all this lavishness they're throwing out on us to help us. And they're giving it just freely. It is, they've just been, truly, truly amazing. And that's not blowing smoke. That's not kissing no butt. That's saying, look, it's really, really appreciated. And it is really, really noticeable. It can't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
No.
And that's things we've had an opportunity to meet these guys, and they are really, really proud of what you're doing and they want it to succeed. And, and just meeting, I think one of the biggest things when you're talking about Gliptone is, you mentioned it on the show, is the process, the decontamination process.
Yes.
That it's not just that I think is the biggest advocate against the whole, you take a bucket and you wash your car.
Yeah.
It's a process. It takes multiple steps, and you guys are highlighting that. And with good products and good people, and you mentioned a lot of them. We just got to spend the weekend with Chris Metcalf. He was there all weekend, and he is one of the nicest, most giving humans I've ever met. And he just wants people to succeed.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and I think that is, you know, the crew that we just got to spend the weekend with was one of the most positive experiences we've ever had. And it's similar to going to your shop. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what they need to do, but they're having fun while they're doing it. It's not just a, you know, dry, boring, you know, let's go in and get our job done. You have fun doing it. And I think that is the key. It really, really is. Like I've told this story before, but we're sitting there, you're in the middle of filming a show. You're in the middle of running a business. It literally, you got your daughter who's bringing in her new baby. You got your grandson there. You got your dad there. Everything's going on. And one of your clients runs in with a motorcycle and he had some splatters all over the side of it. Really nice show bike. You stop what you're doing. You go out and wipe down his bike, get all the stuff off of it. And he turns around and says, how much do I owe you? And you're like, oh man, you don't owe me nothing. I'm just cleaning up for you. And that's just you. You had no expectation, but then he immediately turns around and says, well, then I'm bringing my Jeep in next week for a full detail.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key, is you're going to get back what you put out there. And if you put out there that you want people to succeed, you're going to get that back.
Yeah.
And the people that don't give that back, you probably don't necessarily need them in your life anyway.
Yeah.
Because, but you're just going to keep giving back no matter what. And I think that's the key to it, is surrounding yourself with good people and having the good intentions to have everybody succeed. So
yeah, boy. Yes, that's totally it, man. 100%. Thank you, Mr. J, for sure, baby.
Yeah, well, man, we could keep talking for days and days, but
Yes,
we know
we
you have a business to run, so we want to be considerate of that. So we have to give a shout out. I mean, you've already given a shout out to the Gliptone team. We have to give a shout out to Chris Metcalf. I mean, that guy, Rod and I, you know, the thing that I really appreciate about Chris is he is always willing to step in. He's always willing to travel at sometimes the cost of his family, right? His family's been missing him a little bit, and he expressed that. And so I wanted to give him a shout out. And the other thing is I wanted to give a shout out to the 3401, the Flex, because that machine, I mean, you guys use it every day. It is a beast, right? It is I can't even think of the word. Thank you, that word, right? But it also is trusted on projects like Air Force One and the Peterson Auto Museum, right? Where it's working on priceless vehicles. So, you know, I just wanted to give a shout out to them, because I mean, you have a incredible lineup of professionals behind you, and products and chemicals and machines. But most importantly, you have an amazing team.
Yeah. Very fortunate in that, man. Like I tell them all the time that we're like the Justice League and the Avengers. We just have this super team of all-stars, man, that have so many different skills that it's like it's just really unreal, man. And we just keep adding to that. We keep adding to that arsenal, and the right people are coming alongside the team all the time. I mean, look how long ago has it been since we met?
Oh, since 2018.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, look how close
5 years.
we've gotten in 5 years, man. You know what I mean? Like, we call each other up anytime, shoot the poop, hang out, sleep in the same room. You know what I mean? Go to events. It's just like, God, it is great, man. It's great.
Yep. And I think that we just need to continue that moving forward. And that's what keeps me excited, keeps me going in it, is new adventures and new things that we get to go do. And, you know, and I'm just amazed every time we go to one of these events, every time we show up at your shop and see it, I'm just totally amazed. And Jody told me before we went there, he's like, you're going to be amazed when you see what Jamie's got, and you'll see the setup he's got. And, you know, your team, like every one of them just kind of took us on, and, you know, they didn't seem to mind when this ugly looking bald headed dude stepped in and grabbed the polisher out of his hand and went and started polishing a car, you know?
Yeah, they were like, here, you have
you can do it. Go, baby.
Yeah, get down on that, buddy.
That's it, man.
Yeah, they didn't mind a bit, I assure you.
That's awesome. So, well, man, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. We always love the conversation. Guys that are tuning in, please go out, like, subscribe, share. the
Yes.
RoadFS podcast on YouTube. It's at YouTube at roadfs.com. We're at RoadFS on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. And of course, we are the software of choice, right? If you're looking for software for your business, we'd love to help you. But today's all about you. So we wanted to thank you for your time. And you have any last minutes?
Nope, that's it. Just love seeing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to see what comes next, Jamie.
Yeah, me too, boys. Me too. Appreciate it. Always good to see you, man.
I got to see this last comment. So we got one last comment before we go. Yes,
So
yes,
one
yes,
up,
yes.
one up,
and
one
one
up,
more
one up.
up.
There you
So, and
Great show, guys. Appreciate all,
Yes.
guys. Thank you very much,
Jay.
Jay.
So,
Appreciate everything you do, man.
Thanks, Big Daddy Jay. We'll be
Big
talking
Daddy.
soon. Fellas,
See you
as
later.
always,
see ya.
see ya.